Hey everyone, welcome back to Love2D for Beginners series. Today we're adding one of the most powerful tools to make your game immersive, that is sound. We are adding sounds. And by the end of this episode, you'll know how to add background music, trigger sound effects, control volume, pause and stop sounds, and also organize multiple sounds for bigger projects. So let's dive right in and make your game come alive. First, let's prepare our sound files. So, Love2D supports OGG, .ogg, .wav, and .mp3 formats. And here's a pro tip: you can use .ogg for looping backgrounds and for background music, since they have a smaller size and efficient streaming. And you can use .wav for short sound effects because they have better quality and faster load. And meanwhile, .mp3 you can use for cutscene intros, basically background music that you don't want to be repeating. You can use mp3 for that. Now let's organize our files neatly inside a sound folder inside our game folder. So your project folder should be looking something like this. Inside your project folder, in which you have your main.lua file, there should also be a sounds folder in which there are sounds that you are going to be using inside your game. And after that, you can grab free sound assets from websites like freesound.org. For now, I have used Electronic Fluids by Light Mister. I'm just giving them credit for them. I'll even link these down in the description if you want to use them. And after that, I'm going to be using Blip, something called Blip, and Blip 2. And remember that in our 7th episode, we created a walk cycle where we created something with a dinosaur horse carriage. Well, I'm going to be adding sound to that as well with this. So let's get on with the video and start coding. So I'll be opening these two. And then, for coding, I'll just maximize this and start with our function. So to play sounds, we have to first load them using source objects. Now think of a source like a music player. It knows how to play, pause, and stop one specific sound. So first we'll use function love.load in order to load our sounds. And then for our short sound effect, it should be loaded into the memory. And we'll use something called sound blip, and we'll use the blip audio. So love.audio new source. What was our source? Our source was sounds, our sounds folder, and inside our sounds folder, blip1.wav. This is our file format. And after that, we'll write our loading modes for our audio when we use that audio in our game. So it can either be static or stream. So first we'll be typing out static, since it is for a sound effect. So inside our quotes, we'll type out static. And then after that, we'll load our background music. So background music. So it is streamed from disk to save memory. After that, we'll use bg music equals love.audio.new source, and inside that, sound/bgm.ogg, and we'll be using our stream method. After that, if we want to loop the background music forever, so music, we'll use bg music set looping to true, so it will keep looping. And after that, we'll play the music. Okay, what? Okay, I meant to type out true. Okay, turns out it is auto completing, so true. And after that, bg music will start to play the music, so play. And if we end this and execute our code, so let's put this to the side and let's execute, we can see that our background music starts to play. I don't know if this is recording. Okay, it is recording, hopefully. So that is how you can play your background music. Now inside this, when we use love.audio.new source, we have to write the source of the sound that we're going to be using and then the loading method of the sound. Now static is good for short, frequently used sounds, whereas stream is better for long tracks like music. And if we set looping to, the background music will start looping. And if we use busy music, that is the source objects, busy music colon play, the background music will start playing. And I'll remove this since I don't want the background music to play every time that I demonstrate the code. And after that, we'll be moving towards playing our sound effects. So I'll create a function love dot key pressed, and inside it I'll be using the key parameter. And if our key is space, let's say we want our character to make a sound or a blip sound when we press space. So we'll first use stop, so that if any music regarding our sound blip is playing, we will stop. So stop if already playing, and then we'll play our sound once again. So play. Now after that, we'll end our function. Now inside our love.keyPressed key, when we use stop before our play, the sound restarts instantly, which feels more responsive when players can spam actions. Now let's play our game or run our Lua file once again. So when I press space, you can hear a blip. So this is me pressing space. Okay. Now that is it for playing our sounds. Now Love2D gives us full control over our volume and our playback, and the volume ranges from 0.0, which is silent, to 1.0, which is maximum. So you can set the initial volumes before you use them. Now to demonstrate this, I'll be using love.update, and inside love.update we'll use function love.update and use the dt, and we'll create a variable called local current volume, and it will be background music, and we'll use get volume. And let's say if that volume, unless that volume is more than, until that volume is more than 0, then we'll use background music dot set, colon set volume. We'll set our volume to current volume minus 1% of dt. So 1% dt. Now we'll use end and then end our function as well. Now if we set this background music to playing once again, and let me just make this 0.2 so that we can see the effects faster, and we open our Lua file, we run our Lua file, we can notice that our background music's volume will start to decrease until it reaches 0. So it has reached 0 already while I was talking, pretty fast. So that is how we can use get volume and set volume to our advantage. Now this gradually fades out the background music over time, which is great for game over or scene transitions. Now after learning about set volume and get volume inside Love2D, let's learn about a method called pause. In Love2D, the pause method is used on an audio source object to temporarily stop playback while remembering where it let off. So when you later call play on the same source, it resumes from the paused position instead of restarting the whole sound. So let me break it down by writing some code. Inside our love.load, we'll start our background music and set it to looping. Now, and inside our love.keyPressed function, we'll change our key to p, and then we'll define some conditions. So if our background music is playing, so we'll do is playing, then we will pause the background music. So we'll use the pause method, or else we will play our background music. So we'll use colon play. Now this will resume from where it paused, and we'll remove this sound blip, and this will be our function. Now let's say comment this out at first, and let's start our program. So we'll run, we'll hit P, and then we'll hit P once again. So you can see that it continues to play from where we paused it. So let's see what will happen if we use stop instead of play. So when you use stop and then run our program once again, let's close these. Okay, I hit P, it stopped playing. See, it restarts the whole sound altogether. So that is the use case of pause. Now after that, let's learn about how to manage multiple sounds. As your game grows, managing sounds individually gets messy. A better way is to create a sound manager. And for creating a sound manager, I'll start from scratch. So first of all, I'll create a sounds table. Now you can do this inside love.load as well, but since I'm only displaying a few sounds, I'll just use a table outside love.load. So blip equals love.audio.new source, and once again we'll use sounds. Okay, let's use blip2 this time. So blip2.wav. After that we'll use the static mode, and after that we'll create a BGM key, background music. So love.audio.new source sound slash background music.ogg, and we'll use stream. And after that we'll use a function, okay, horrible spelling for function, function called play sound. So play sound, and inside this we'll pass the name of the sound, and let's say if sounds contains the name, so if our name key, then we will first of all play that sound. No, first of all we'll stop that sound in order to prevent overlapping, and then we will play that sound. So play, and then inside our else condition, if our sound is not there, that is if the sound name pass is not inside our sound table, we'll use print to indicate that sound not found, and we'll indicate which sound was not found. So concatenate our name, and that's it for our function. Now when we call it, call play sound, and let's say we call background music. This should be inside quotes, I'm sorry. Okay, now after that if we execute our code, we can see that our background music is played. Whereas if we type in here blip, let's see what is played. See? So that is how you can manage your sounds. Instead of managing 10 plus variables, you can just call play sound and just pass the name of the sound you want to play, and it works. And that was it for this video. But before the video ends, let me demonstrate how you can use sounds inside Love2D efficiently with our code from our episode 7. Now inside our code from our 7th episode, I have loaded a horse sound with horse.mp3 loaded inside horse variable, and if moving, if our character or if our horse carriage is moving, we have played the sound, and if not moving, we have stopped the sound. So simple as that. Let's see how the output turns out. So we have our dinosaur horse carriage. Once again, shout out to its authors. I'll link this down in the description. But if we play this, you can see that it'll start playing the audio as well as it is animating. So pretty cool. And yeah, that was it for this video. Now your games don't just look fun, they sound fun too. And next up, we'll learn how to make a simple game called Pong in our next episode. So if you want to create a real game with all of the stuff that we have learned so far, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss it. Until the next time, happy coding and bye bye.